Taking a look at the December gold contract at the CME, a strong day, gold up almost 1.5%, closing at the high. Strongest day since August 16th. The high today, 1821.70. The close today, 1821.60. Both of those up about 1.47% and change. They're actually only different by a couple of third decimal places on the percentage change on the day. On the downside, 1785.20. That was down about 55 basis points. As I mentioned, gold settled near the highs with the dollar reversing almost all of last week's gains. Inverse relationship between gold and the dollar, with all else equal, gave a tailwind to gold today, and yields fell. That also gives a tailwind to gold, considering inflation expectations actually rose slightly in the short term. Yields on the 10-year note started the week at about 129, went up to about 136, 137. Finished the week right around 130, so basically unchanged. Now, a lot of that was driven by Jerome Powell's Jackson Hole speech, whose more dovish message contrasted other Fed speakers like Kansas City Fed President Esther George, who basically opened the Jackson Hole Symposium by saying, "Let's get this tapering started." I'm obviously paraphrasing, though that's not a quote. But Robert Kaplan from Dallas also said the same types of words and phrases. Patrick Harker, Philadelphia Fed President, same type of message. And while Jerome Powell did indicate that tapering could come this year, he talked about the Delta variant, and he also talked about in great detail the transitory nature of inflation, which would not necessarily be a tailwind for gold. Now, when you saw the PCE and inflation data today, PCE data remained high while Michigan inflation expectations were higher. Final month-over-month core PCE stayed at plus 0.3 for July, and final year-over-year core PCE stayed at 3.6%. The headline year-over-year PCE also stayed at 4.2%. It was 4% last month. Now, the Michigan 5-year inflation expectations ticked up to 2.9% from 2.8, even though the 10-year inflation expectation fell by a tenth, 4.6% versus 4.7. Also, personal income beat forecasts, coming in at 1.1% versus expectations of up 0.2%. So it beat by a lot. So inflation still seems to be strong in the data. Jerome Powell doesn't necessarily agree that it's going to stay. He thinks it's transitory. All of that, with the lower yields, means that there's potentially a need for gold, given that it is an inflation hedge.